Well, uh, David, this is Brian Kelly.
How you
Hi,
doing,
Brian.
David? It's very nice to meet you.
Sorry for
It's an
being so
honor.
late.
Oh yeah, it's
And
an honor.
David knows me. I was at his house last week, um, getting a new
You spent a lot of
trombone.
money too. You bought a lot of.
I'm buying memories is what I'm
I'm
buying.
totally aware
Okay, all
that
right.
I'm totally aware that I don't have the status that Daryl has at this moment. That's no problem.
Well, as the season started, I don't. It's we're talking with David Butler. David Butler, longtime trombone player in the area, was in the 1 o'clock lab band and the Lou Fisher band, and we wondered if maybe there might be another local band, maybe like Pyramid. Were you in that?
No, that was one of my best friends, Jim Foster. Was There was no trombone player in Pyramid, but
Oh, okay.
I played in the Emerald City Band for 40
Oh,
uh,
Emerald City.
40 years. Yeah, a
I
long
used to
time.
work for Absolute Entertainment.
Oh yeah. Well, I know Dave Von Blom real well, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I won't say anything.
Okay, good. And I'm still working. I'm still playing gigs today, so
Oh, that's good. That's fine. Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Let's
musicians
see.
always did real well.
Yeah.
Well, David is a person of interest for us because he played for Phil Kelly in his sessions, so we had to find out what we can find out about you. And you, I think you gave me a time frame. Was it the late 70s when you were in the band at North
Well, it would have been
Texas?
early 80s because I graduated at UNT in 1980 and then moved to Dallas after that. I played in the Fairmont Orchestra, doing shows down there as a show specialist. I wasn't regular of the band, but I played a lot of like Ella Fitzgerald and Tony Bennett and a bunch of those shows down at the Fairmont. And so that's kind of where I kind of started in Dallas, and then I started getting called for sessions, and I did. I worked for Tom Merriman a bunch, and Phil Kelly, and I looked for worked for well, just about every studio in town, pretty much. And at the tail end of all of that, because it all kind of ended in about the mid '80s. So
The TM was the place where you worked with Merriman and Phil Kelly, TM
yeah,
Studios.
yeah, yeah.
And it was that was before they moved to Regal Row, or was that was Regal
No, that
Row?
was during Regal Row years. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I worked for TM Century after that when they moved. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
But that wasn't
That
with
came.
Phil.
Well, tell us about the first time that you had a recording session with Phil. I mean, was it any different from the other guys? Did you feel like it was going to be something special?
Well, I didn't know Phil at all. I mean, I just knew that, he was one of the better writers in town. And I guess I did know a little bit about him because I knew that when I was at Florida State a few years before, we had Bill Watrous as a guest artist. And Bill played Sweet Georgia Brown Upside Down. That was one of his songs. And he introduced it as, hey, this was written by Phil Kelly in Dallas and, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of knew the name a little bit through Bill Watrous and introducing him as a writer in Dallas. So that was my only real introduction to Phil. And I think I told you already the story that I had with Phil and one of the first sessions I did when he was the writer on it. He was and this was at TM. He was on Regal Row. He was in the bathroom and I was waiting to come in and he opens the door and looks at me and he goes, I wouldn't go in there if I were you. So that
Uh,
was my introduction to Phil.
there
And
you go.
yeah,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, I did not, I like I said, I was at the tail end of all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
I only did a handful of sessions with Phil before that whole era kind of ended a little bit because with the library music thing and the union not having any teeth really because it was a right to work state, they started using all the library music that was recorded in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So there really wasn't that much to do. It went from when I first started doing sessions, it was, two or three a week for maybe about a year. And then after that, it dribbled down to like one a month. And now it's even worse than that. Of course, I'm getting older now, so I'm probably not, one of
Yeah.
the first guys anymore. But yeah, it really trickled down to nothing. And I
So
know
they're just basically resorting to reruns. Is that what you're saying? That they were
recording.
just
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
re-recordings?
yeah, re-recordings. Yeah. And so, it was kind of interesting. Don Jacoby was the president of the union when I first started doing the sessions there in Dallas. And I do remember finally him calling me on New Year's Eve and going, "Hey, Dave, you want a Christmas present?" And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Well, I got a check for $2,500 down here at the union office. Come pick it up." And it's on Christmas Eve, not New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve. And so I went down there and picked up the check. It was for a Linux commercial that we got reuse on. And that was the last of that stuff. I mean, after
Wow.
that, we had to sign away all of our rights to the music, whatever we recorded, because um, you know, they used to have all these guys were signatories in Phil included was signatory, which means that they signed a thing saying that, yeah, these guys played the session and they get reuse and blah, 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 blah. Well, all that changed when all these guys got together and I think the idea was to compete with LA and Chicago and New York that we had to offer our services for less money and without the reuse that maybe a lot more work would come to Dallas and it would make up for the lack of the reuse checks, but it never worked out. I mean, they opened a big sound stage, the Dallas sound stage. Dallas, what was the name of it? I forget. Anyway, that was supposed to be a music recording for movies. That's what they were hoping to compete with Hollywood and LA to record stuff for movies. And we were all excited about it, blah, blah, blah. And our end was the fact that we didn't have to get reuse on our work. We could just, play it, get paid for it, and um, hopefully that would be enough money to compensate for the rest of that, which it never materialized in anything.
Mm.
So that was a big disappointment. But I don't know why Phil moved to Seattle, but I'm wondering if that might have had something to do with it. I don't know. The whole kind of the degradation of the recording industry in Texas, basically.
Well, I think
I well,
Brian can answer that better than I can.
I think that's some of it. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
Yeah.
he was just doing his own production at that point
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
the house. And, I wouldn't be surprised at all, to tell you the truth, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew a lot of people, like I said, I worked with, Absolute, and a lot of the guys, in there, I mean, I worked with Jason Buckland, and he was up
Yeah.
there at TM, and
Yeah.
like Scott Lohr. I mean, I
Hmm.
went to high school with Scott Lohr.
Yeah.
So I've known him, I mean, my dad's known him since he was 17. So
Wow. Yeah.
the same people are around. It's the business that, tears everything down. It's, imagine if musicians acted the way that the companies were acting towards
Wow.
them, sabotaging big gigs or something. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
hilarious that they think that you are going to be able to, oh, well, that's enough for them.
Right.
That attitude. I don't get it, but
Yeah. Well, none of us get it, but I mean, the
no.
the wonderful thing about Dallas and my whole career here in Dallas is that the musicians, it's like a family, one big family, and everybody
Oh
really gets
yeah.
along, and everybody has a respect for each other and what they bring, and so it's been really great. Other than just that one sticking point, you know. And playing with Emerald City for all those years, we didn't even uh, Dino never joined the union because the union had no teeth. You know, it's like, well, okay, well, why? I mean, I was in the union, but nobody ever gave me a hard time about playing with a non-union band because we worked all the time and we got paid higher than union scale always. So,
Yeah.
what are you going to argue with
Did
there?
you ever do the Sterling event
The what
with
if? What?
the Sterling event with Emerald City? It was a big thing for autism that they would do out there at the Intercontinental. Is where
I
we did it.
probably did. I don't recall all the
Because I
time.
remember Cubey and Emerald City being there at the same time, and we were in adjoining rooms. And it was the weirdest setup I'd ever seen. I don't know why they did that. And I just had wondered if you were on that gig because that was the
I'm
biggest
sure I
gig,
was.
as
Yeah,
biggest gig I'd ever been on. But I remember Dino walking around talking to Scott, going, "What in the heck is this? I don't
yeah,
know." They didn't
yeah.
know what was going on. It was
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
I played pretty much every single gig for like 38 years or
Yeah.
40 years. So I'm sure I was there. But
Man, there's that, and there's this little autistic kid there that would play like Thelonious Monk.
oh, really?
He was
Wow.
like 8 or 9 years old, and he had all these old dudes that were in his band. But he had come down from Boston, and that was like one of the people that played. But it was
Wow.
separate from us. We were like in the where everybody was dancing and everything. But
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't maybe 100 feet from each, but band was 100 feet from each other, and there was like they didn't really have anything dividing us. It was weird. I mean, we could
That-
see y'all's rack, and they could see our sound equipment.
wow.
That's what I did with sound. So it's like
Okay. Wow.
anyway, that was just a weird question that I had. Some of the gigs that we would do, I never understood them.
I think but part of the reason he moved up there also was his wife was sick
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay.
and
that was the other thing.
they
Yeah,
she had cancer and they were trying to just get away from the heat and the
Right.
traffic.
the
I do kind of
stress.
remember about him wanting to get away from the heat because
Yeah,
it was,
the stress too. A
yeah,
lot of it.
yeah, yeah.
And I just ended up staying up there. Oh, sure was nice up there, but
Oh, it was
yeah,
cool. That was the
I
other
could
deal.
definitely
It was
see why I
very
didn't want to
cool.
come back.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I gave up everything to go stay with him. I was like, hey, I'll start over new up here, and it didn't work out. But hey, while I was there, it was unbelievable. It's just a
Yeah.
different. It's different. I
Yeah,
mean,
my
it's
daughter lived in Seattle for a while, and I would really enjoy going up there to visit her. It was
yeah,
so nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't see any of the music scene up there, but I'm sure they have a real good one.
The
Oh,
symphony is
well,
really cool. Yeah,
well, somehow Phil started a whole new life up there, putting a
yeah,
band together and got to know all the people in, that area, that scene and made three
Yeah.
CDs.
yeah,
Crazy, just crazy. I mean, it really is like he just got a total recharge.
Huh.
yeah.
Uh, but those CDs are on the website,
I
David.
have to
If
check that out. Yeah, I'd like to go listen to those. That's
I
very interesting.
I made a count today, 741 pieces of music that are either on the YouTube or linked up to the website.
Oh, wow.
Not
Wow.
counting whatever Chuck has or anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Did you talk
I
to Chuck Monadnock at
Yeah,
all?
he
No.
sent me an email 2 days before the Them Bones concert, asked me if I was going to record it,
Hmm.
and I didn't see the email. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
standing
You
there,
told me
I'm sitting there right in the front, and Chuck is talking to the crowd, and he's looking right at me, and I'm looking right back at him, going, "Oh, hi, Chuck," and he's probably
that.
thinking, "Well, are you going to record or not?" But I
That's
told him
funny.
that I would the next time in August, I
Yeah.
would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sure he's going to be a gold mine. He
He
told
will
me
be.
that he'll get back to me, and I'm sure
Yeah.
that he's looking through stuff. Jim
Well,
Riggs reached out,
yeah.
and
Who
we'll,
also?
we'll be we'll be talking with Jim in a couple of weeks after his grandkids graduate from high school or
Okay.
college at Houston,
Hmm.
and we will probably do his by phone, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Jim said something that's really profound over the phone. I don't know if I shared that with you. I think it was the day before I saw you, where he compared Phil to a Bach or Beethoven, modern day Bach or
Oh,
Beethoven.
wow. Okay.
Oh, look, it's the professor saying that. Wow. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'll throw you back for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we
that there was a stark difference. It was kind of interesting. Back when I first started doing recording work, the writers were incredible, with Phil and Tom Merriman. And some of these guys were just brilliant in their writing. And now whenever I go to a session, I still work for Stephen Arnold some. And it's okay, but the writers, they're not even close to what those guys were. They're just
did
not,
you
you know.
did you see Phil like actually write them out at
No, I didn't.
rehearsals?
With Tom Merriman, though, I did record a lot more with Tom than I did with Phil. And Tom was interesting because he would literally sit in the control room and write the arrangement as we were playing the one before.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we'd be playing a piece, and we did a lot of like industrial film music and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting stuff. And we'd be playing. And he'd be sitting there scribbling out stuff for the next cut and handing it to the copyist. Bob Eidner was one of the main copyists, him and Roger Holmes, and they'd be going off, scurrying off to the other room to copy the parts for the
Wow.
next cut.
It makes so
And
much sense.
he'd
Mm-hmm.
be producing while he's writing the chart. And
Wow.
it's like crazy stuff. And uh, yeah, those
Lou
guys,
Fisher gave us a similar story of Phil writing out Zip City while
yeah.
they're mixing down Sweet Georgia Brown.
Right. And that we don't have those writers anymore. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
those people like that can do that stuff. I mean,
No,
that was
no.
that was amazing, you know.
Did you ever get to see him play drums?
I did not know. Never saw him play drums.
He was at the Fairmont too quite a bit. Do you think the Fairmont archives any of their shows, or they just?
Did he play in the drums play the drums with the Fairmont band
I
before?
believe so, with Lou
Okay. What?
Marini and Don Thomas.
Oh, maybe so. When I got there, it was Jimmy Zatano was the drummer, and he
Mm-hmm.
stayed the drummer for most of the time I was there, except for Jimmy couldn't read music. And so whenever we got a show in like Ella or something like that, they brought their own rhythm section. So we had like you know, heavies from New York playing those shows, which was pretty phenomenal too. I mean, the
Wow.
guy that played piano on Giant Steps was playing piano with Ella, you know.
Wow.
So it was
There
pretty
you
awesome.
go.
And
Mm.
Keir Betts played bass, and a bunch of really great players. Another guy that you should talk to. Have you talked to Randy Lee yet?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right
good.
before Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Randy's
if
going
I,
to be another treasure trove of information. And Pete
I,
Yeah.
Brewer,
Pete, not yet, although he gave us permission to play Kathy's Waltz, which came off one of his albums.
oh,
It
okay.
was a
Yeah.
Phil
Yeah.
composition, but I, I've got his phone number from the union directory, but
Mhm.
I'm hesitant to just barge in on his life. But I don't know. I did that with Jim Riggs, and it finally came to fruition.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be so gun shy, but people don't know who I am, so I have to
Right.
be careful.
Well, another guy would be Jay Saunders. He doesn't live in Texas anymore. He lives in California.
He
But
we talked with him too.
oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
good.
It
Right.
it he
Yeah.
was the second person we talked to after Bill
He's
Collins,
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay.
John Giordano was after
Yeah.
him, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
then Randy Lee.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite Phil Kelly chart when you were in
Well, Sweet
school?
Georgia Brown, I've played it a million times. So
Did you play all the
Sweet Georgia Brown
parts?
upside down, huh?
Did you play all the parts?
I probably played all the, well, not the bass trombone part, but I probably played both the lead part and the second part for sure a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Marini said what he liked about Phil's music was it was always fun to play.
Yeah, definitely fun.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it
Well,
was kind of funny because we played the original manuscript of Sweet Georgia. I played at Florida State and UNT when I was in the band there. I mean, everybody's played that chart. And then
hmm.
Carrie brought it in and had re copied the parts, with new, nice clean copy. And it's just like, oh, okay, this is weird. Because now it's like really clean to read, and it's like, I'd rather have the original copies. I mean, just because you're so used to reading that, and if you
Yeah.
see the new, finale parts, it's like, ah.
It's like when they re-engineer like Pink Floyd or something. It
Right,
doesn't
yeah,
sound
something
the
like that.
same now. What
Yeah.
happened? Hmm.
Do you remember anything in particular that, the name of something that when you were working with Phil, uh,
Oh gosh, no, that's
the name of a piece
so
or
long ago.
any like particular weird instrumentation or
Well, I do
magical?
remember, and I don't, this applies to probably both Tom and Phil. And I don't know if Phil wrote that much for French horn, but I remember uh, he would purposely write really hard French horn parts because the guy that played French horn was in Dallas Symphony was a fantastic player. I mean, just and we just because we always recorded with the French horns and the trumpets, and um, I'm trying to think of his name. He teaches or taught at SMU for many years. Oh gosh, I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway,
Okay.
he was so great that I remember Tom would purposely write ridiculous horn parts just so we could all
Yes.
sit there in the room and listen to him play.
That's funny.
That that's what I like to hear when they
Yeah.
Yeah.
custom write something for because I
Oh
know the
yeah.
musician can
Yeah.
handle it.
They knew they had that horsepower there. So it was like, oh, let's do this.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It'd be clues. Do you remember people that you might see on a regular basis in those recording sessions with a Phil?
Yeah. And unfortunately, some of them have passed away.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm trying to think. Um, Bass trombone player. Boy, this is Bill Guthrie was a bass trombone player on almost everything back then,
Yes.
along
Okay.
with Chuck and Bill. But Bill passed away a few years ago. Then there was another French horn player that played in the Fort Worth Symphony that always played with Greg, and I can't remember his name, but he's passed away also. But those are and the trumpet section was Don Thomas and uh, I guess let's see, Rodney played on some stuff, and yeah, already yeah, Don yeah, those the same guys you already talked about. So I'm trying to think
Sure.
of anybody else. Oh, Jack Evans, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he did a lot of sessions, but Jack was around then and
He
played.
did. He already told me from 73 to 88.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
That's cool, man. Thank you very much for that information, Gregory Eustace.
yeah, yeah,
Well, at some point we'd like to maybe put together some tribute concerts.
yeah. That'd be fun too.
I
Yeah.
talked with Carrie about maybe pulling out the three or four charts that Memphis
Oh
Brass
yeah.
has
We
and
can
doing it. It
certainly.
was that was actually John Adams' idea to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Now, John's my
Mhm.
age too. Now, I don't know if he did session work or not back then or not. I don't know. I think
He
Kirby
says
Stewart,
no.
yeah, Kirby
He
Stewart did a lot of stuff. He's passed away, but he played a lot of stuff on oh, and Ernie Chapman played a lot
Ernie Chapman.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
He
that
played
was
on a
it.
lot of stuff. Now, we were never in the same room with the rhythm section, so it's hard for
Yeah.
me to remember everybody, but um, all of the typically the recording session would be French horns, trumpets, and trombones in the same room. The saxophones would record separately, and we'd always say hi to them as they're walking in, that kind of thing.
well, I mean, we got quite a bit out of you, David.
Well, good. It's amazing. I can't believe I remembered that much. It was the
I'm
80s. Well,
Yeah, after the '80s, yeah, you can't beat that.
uh,
Mm,
yeah, I can't
Well,
remember anything with Emerald City because that's a blur.
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Well, I
No, that's
but
why I think that I've spent everything that I know or told you everything I know, I think. So
Okay.
how's that
awesome. Well,
working out? Have you played it
All right.
yet?
well, I'm still trying to figure out the best mouthpiece that I've got. I've
Ah,
got this tw old tarnished 12C Con 12C that
uh-huh.
I'm gravitating towards, but I haven't played in 8 years. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm rusty as all get out. I can't even
Well,
make a note right now, so
that's to be expected after 8 years. I can't
gotta cut me
imagine.
some slack. I played in a salsa band and that rock band I told you about, and
Yeah.
I was
Right.
my chops were fine, but and then I had to tend to some real life matters, and after all that was done with, it was such a bummer. I just had been back, but this
Well, if
project
it
has
makes you
actually
feel any,
given me some new
you're right.
life.
If it makes you feel any better, John Letta, the guy who plays the lead trumpet in the Memphis Brass, was in Emerald City Band with me for 20 something years. He quit and laid off the trumpet for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, and then came back, and now he sounds better than ever. So
Wow.
just hang in there and work on it. You're going to be
Uh,
fine.
well, I remember it took me 6 months to kind of get up to where I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like practicing every night, 2 or 3 hours a night. So
Yeah.
with the project going, I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to
Yep.
enjoy it. It'll be great.
Yep. Cool.
I will report back to you, I promise.
Okay. Report back in about 6 months.
It might take a while. Yeah, indeed. Okay, guys. Well, thank
It
you
was very
again.
nice meeting you, David.
Very
I
nice meeting
appreciate
you
it.
too. All
Thank you.
right. Y'all
I
take
loved
care.
hearing the stories. It was
We'll see you
Yeah.
really,
later.
really good.
Best I can
I'm going to
remember.
go ahead and